Hey, today we're talking about the Grand Canyon National Park, which is another one of those most talked about parks that you might even feel is over talked about. But the fact is, it's a place full of majesty and wonder. Hi, everyone. I'm Amber with Greater Travel, and the Grand Canyon National Park is where it's at for beautiful sights, once-in-a-lifetime experiences, unexpected characteristics of nature, family fun, camping, you name it. So stick around to get all the info and be sure to stay until the end to find out about a special gift. So what is there to do at the Grand Canyon and the surrounding areas? Do you just go and see beautiful things and walk around? You can, if that's what you enjoy. But there are other things you can do too. The Grand Canyon is a major attraction in Arizona, which is home to lots of things to do to stimulate your muscles and your mind. Arizona may not make you think of snow, but there are some times of the year when parts of the canyon are snow-covered and may even be closed to visitors. So if you plan to visit the Grand Canyon in the winter, be sure to check the website for closures. There are winter hiking opportunities available if that's your jam, but definitely take measures to keep warm so you don't end up in a situation where you can't get warm and end up severely ill. Being too cold is no joke, so take the safety precautions necessary and be prepared. Hypothermia is a thing, even in Arizona. Despite the mental image most people create when they hear the words Grand Canyon, there's actually an abundance of wildlife. I know I first think of rocky crags, dirt, dryness, and heat, but plenty of animals call the canyon home, from birds and mammals to reptiles and amphibians, and of course insects, because there aren't many places you can go to avoid those. There are many different species living in the canyon, and you can even get a full list on the park's website. The main thing to consider when viewing wildlife is safety. The park website encourages visitors to stay at least 100 feet from large mammals and at least 50 feet away from smaller animals. You never want to underestimate the danger you could be facing if you get too close to the wildlife, even if you're just trying to get that perfect photo. Even calling or making noises to get the attention of wildlife is illegal there. So just know that the perfect photo may not be worth it. Another major rule is not to feed the animals because they can become dependent on humans for food. There are plenty of outdoor activities to participate in, such as viewing cultural demonstrations, ranger programs, audio tours, backcountry hiking, river trips, bicycling, photography, guided tours, mule trips, and even religious services. Guided tours include bicycle tours, bus tours, jeep and van tours, guided hikes that can be short or even overnight, whitewater rafting that lasts from 3 to 21 days, half and full day rafting, and even scenic air tours. There are also special events happening at different times, so always check the website for anything that might be happening during your trip. Keep in mind that things like the mule rides do cost money and need to be booked in advance. If you don't live nearby, then you're probably going to need somewhere to stay. There are several lodges in and around the park. Some even have a shuttle bus service, but those can be seasonal, so definitely ask before you book your stay. You can also choose to stay in a city that's like 30 to 100 miles away or so to experience that location, but still be able to spend a day at the Grand Canyon. Arizona does have a lot more than just the canyon to enjoy. If you want a little more rustic vacation, you may choose from a number of campgrounds for tent and RV camping, but depending on where, you may find yourself without RV hookups, so be sure to ask about that when booking a spot for camping. As far as food goes, there are several options. You can pick up a grab-and-go style breakfast or lunch at the visitor center, get a quick bite at the market plaza, or visit the historic district. There are some restaurants that require reservations, such as El Tovar Dining Room, so check into that with any sit-down restaurant you decide you want to try. There are several options at some of the lodges. a snack bar at Hermit's Rest, and dessert at Desert View. If you need to grab items off grounds, there are a few stores and restaurants outside of the parks as well. Be sure to bring a refillable bottle for water during your time at the park, and of course, you can always bring your own food and have a picnic. But either way, remember to follow those safety rules and keep food stored away and do not feed the animals. If you're a family with kids, you may be thinking about what you can do as a family or that your kids can do and enjoy. Throughout the year, there are different events and programs for children. One thing most parks have in common is the Junior Ranger program, which kids can do over and over again at different parks. There are downloadable books for looking for certain plants and wildlife in the park. There are educational programs put on throughout the year. Student learning is available for history of the area and people, etc. There's even a Sesame Street video series available online to introduce preschool-age children to nature. You may also be wondering about accessibility, if you or someone in your family needs to take advantage of those services. Because of the historic aspect of the facilities in the parks, some places may be difficult to access since standards of accessibility were different at the time of building. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you've been to many historic sites, then you may have encountered this problem before. Also, remember that the terrain is rocky, some paths will be narrow, and there are steep cliffs. May seem unnecessary to mention, but sometimes we focus on the fun and forget about the technical issues we may come across. One thing of note is that all shuttle buses are wheelchair accessible up to 30 inches wide and 48 inches long at the time of this video being posted, but unfortunately, most motorized scooters will not fit on the buses. You may also want to get an accessibility permit, which would allow permit holders access to some areas closed to the general public. You can pick up a permit at the park entrance or visitor center and pick up an accessibility guide at the visitor center or download from the park website. I do want to talk about safety again and remind you to stay safe by making informed choices about the things you do in the Grand Canyon or on any vacation. Something about the canyon being a large hole might make you or a child want to throw something in it, but this is not allowed because items may injure hikers or wildlife below or even dislodge rocks and cause landslides. During hot or cold weather, take the proper measures to keep yourself cool and hydrated or warm and energized. Be careful in winter driving conditions. And just to mention one more time, stay far back away from any wildlife and always check the website to make sure there aren't any emergencies to be aware of and safety measures that need to be taken. It's possible an evacuation may be required due to fires, hazardous materials, natural disasters, etc. I think many people hear the Grand Canyon and think of it as a big hole in the rocks, but there's actually a rich history of culture in the area. People have lived in and explored the Grand Canyon for years upon years, and there's much to learn about those people and how they lived. I know for me, learning about the history of the place I'm visiting is half the fun. There are archaeological sites that preserve structures and artifacts from natives, settlers, and explorers. You can visit the research library, the museum collection, and historical sites to learn all about the history and stimulate your mind in addition to your muscles from all the hiking and other activities you plan to do. And I don't know about you, but I know I need to visit the gift shops when I visit places. And you'll want to go to the park stores while you're there for all your souvenir needs. Whether it's a t-shirt, keychain, or magnet. I personally like to pick up a magnet wherever I visit. Or maybe you'd prefer something unconventional and unique. No matter what, you'll need something to commemorate your time at the Grand Canyon. You can visit the general stores, market, and trading post in the parks for shopping for gifts and other gears and supplies too. So you've got all the info, you know it's the vacation you want to take. Now's the time to decide when you want to go, whether it's winter with possible hiking in the snow, but at least cooler weather, or summer for staying warm. It's time to start planning and get your Grand Canyon bucket list together. Check the description box below for some helpful links to products and planning documents. There's that free gift. If you like this video and you want to see more similar content, subscribe to Greater Travel and click the bell to be notified when future videos are uploaded. Be sure to leave a comment about your experience at the Grand Canyon if you've been before, or something to look forward to on your future visit, and we'll do our best to respond to your comment. Thanks for watching. See you next time.